not enough, I didn't feel enough self-love for myself. And I mentioned that I was seeing a spiritual healer, and every time I would go to see her, um, she would always tell me, the guys are saying to more self-love, more self-love. And I was doing a lot of things that I felt was helping to cultivate that self-love, but I wasn't feeling it at the same time. So yeah, it just got to the point where after hearing that for over a year, it gets a little frustrating, especially when I feel like I'm doing things to
Yes.
cultivate that, but it wasn't. My whole life.
Mm.
I was going to say, but actually being conscious of it, that I wasn't actually loving myself, probably within the last 5 or 6 years, maybe. Well, I see it as kind of like a fondue, like it just keeps it's spilling over in all the areas of my life. Not enough self-love is also, if there's no self-love, there's no ability or capability to love someone else. You look financially or everything. It affects everything. I rated myself at about a 6.5, and
Yes, I like point
I
five.
wanted to be a 10. I wanted to be a 10. It was amazing, and I really was able to experience the power of my mind. Um, so um, you said you made a suggestion that said, pretend like all that there's your top of the head is open. I mean, I'm not quoting you exactly, but you said pretend like there's a big vacuum vacuuming everything up. And I could feel myself like trembling a little bit because I
Yes.
just had this image of all this crap and all this junk just getting sucked up. And it felt like a very forceful,
Yes.
like just like it's time to get all this crap out of here, like
Yeah.
just get out, and I could feel myself trembling a little bit because it was just such a forceful, like it was just going,
Mhm.
and I could just see it was a big vacuum. It's just like just everything coming out, and it was just, yeah, but I could feel also that it was just getting stuck right here, and so I
Yes.
was just, and I'm sure you could see it because you kept saying, "Let it go now, let it go now, do whatever, let it go now," and I was like, "Let it go," and I was like, "Why am I resisting letting go?" Yeah, then I just started going like this and um tapping just to get it out because it felt like it was just this lump in my throat that just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger just because things were getting stuck. I felt that first in my heart space, but then that kind of like pushed through, and then it just got stuck here again. It's just, and yeah, it was amazing. It was it was very emotional to me.
Mhm.
When you had me open my eyes, I still felt a little bit of a stuck feeling. So you just kind of went like this and said, okay, I'm pushing it up, and just, you know, and then I closed my eyes again, and I could feel it coming up, and it was just so slow moving and just like, and it just came out of my mouth, up top of my head, and um, probably less than a minute or two, and then you said, okay, is it still there? I said, nope, it's gone. Just, okay, it's gone.
That
Yeah.
was amazing. It was such a privilege for me to witness that process of liberation.
Well, I know it's not being put under in a sense of the word, but that session was, I was put under where I just laid there. So on my part, there was no work being done.
Yeah.
Like there was no doing. It was just kind of like automatic programming.
Mm-hmm.
But this session with you was much different because I gained insight um, in the issue, and I was able to participate in that um, the extraction, I guess, of all the negative things, and just I think being able to experience is actually what makes the, the biggest difference, to be able to experience that. Right now, I um I feel good. I feel light. I feel like I can breathe because I felt like that in my throat. Like once it was out, I felt like I could breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because yeah. So I feel like I can breathe, and I feel happy and I'm light. Yeah. That's the only thing I can say is there's a heaviness about it.
Yeah.
That's not there anymore. Oh, that was um I imagine myself, I would think I was probably 4 or 5 years old maybe, and I was still on Kauai, which is where I was born in Hawaii, and I was standing up on a stone wall of my aunt's house. She spoiled me rotten, and when I was tall enough to reach the door to open it, which is about two, I would open the door and I would go straight over to her house, and it was my mom would panic and get worried because I was gone all of a sudden, but she knew that this aunt across the street was the one I would go to, and so I pictured myself standing on that wall because it was like that's once I was able to break free from the house, I was tall enough to leave myself. Um, that's where I would go. So it was kind of like the picture in my mind of freedom and liberation, that
Yeah.
I went there because I wanted to go there as a child. And I was standing up on the wall, kind of like in this position, or just like a superhero. Yeah. So that's how I so it was I kind of chuckled when I saw myself because Wonder Woman was my idol growing up, and so to see me standing on the stone wall like this, and I kind of laughed and cried at the same time. There was nope, it's just like it just popped in my head like that. That's what I looked like,
Yeah.
the age, where I was standing, what it meant to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was all, yeah, no content. Where is it?
Yeah, on the scale of 0 to 10, it was 6.5.
Oh yeah, it's definitely 10.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do with this now that it's at 10 and there are no more obstructions? Where are you going to take yourself now?
I think I'm just gonna stay here for a bit. Just enjoy that, because um it's been a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to kind of roll around and revel in it, I guess.
Yes, wonderful. And you are in this beautiful place. You could not imagine
Yeah.
a better place to enjoy that feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you say to someone who is suffering, whether from low self-worth or anxiety or feeling low down, depressed? What kind of advice could you give a person who's suffers?
Suffering from self-worth is just a human thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we all go through it at some point in our life, and the the time frame on that is different for everyone. Some people suffer through it for decades, their whole life. Some people just have moments of questioning their self-worth and their value. But what I would say to someone that's suffering, it's really you have the power to change it. And it starts with the choice. Like, you just have to make one choice to want to feel different. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're one choice away from feeling different and from having everything change. Yes. I would. Yeah. And I've only had a couple of experiences, but it was like I said in my email, life altering. I feel like it was completely altered. I think the person has to they have to participate in it. And I'm not saying that I'm not participating in a healing session, because it's very helpful, like to balancing energy centers and clearing things out. But I think the change happens with greater insight, and that's even, so there has to be kind of an up level, like a conscious up leveling, I think, of making that change, making changes.
There's this big misconception that you just go there and lay down and something is done to you. And I think that might be even discouraging to many people who might be afraid of, mind control, or there's lots of misconceptions about hypnosis.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I feel completely different from that session where I just laid there and was just riffed at, if that's a word.
Yeah.
I was having it done to me, but I did not participate in it because but I think that participation is definitely needs to be there.
Yes, because that gives you a knowing, an insight that you have the power, that the power is with you, and it always has been. It's just was stuck. It's some part of the body. We accumulate those experiences as we go through life, and pain and emotional pain and rejection, perhaps failure, and we keep it in our tissues. We have to take it out. Nobody can do it for us. So it is a collaborative process.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Rani, for being an amazing client. And I can't wait to see you expanding even more and more and going into a direction you want to go in life. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.